besides being really excited to head out to CES to see all my friends and coworkers and clients, I'm looking forward to three trends that I'm thinking of in the contextual CTV space. The first one is around using AI to identify more contextually relevant content. We've been doing some amazing work with our partners individually where they're able to identify content that's contextually relevant to our clients. Ideally, we would be able to do it at scale programmatically, and I think that's where we can really see help from AI. The second one that I'm excited about is contextual relevance in live. So what can we do that's real time in the moment to understand what's contextually relevant for what's happening and make a message that's relevant to our consumers. And then the third one sort of ties together everything, which is creative. How can we leverage creative to make sure that we have the right message to the right audience in that right contextual relevance, whether it's live or whether it's library content, but make sure that message really resonates with the consumer.
So just to stay with the idea of contextual relevance, the idea has been around for a very long time, really since advertising began, essentially. Mm-hmm. So what does it look like in a CTV context, and how do you convey that to performance-minded marketers?
Yeah, contextual relevance is more than just a theme. It's more than just aligning to keywords or topics. It's really when the ad is an extension, a true extension, has a similar sentiment of the content. So it feels like it's part of the content and it's not as much of a disruption to the consumer. And I think that's really an opportunity for an advertiser to drive performance. To your question about how do you explain that to a performance advertiser, every advertiser wants their ads to perform. So it's not, is one performing and is one not performing? It's more, what is the performance KPI we're looking at? And we've done initial testing of contextual relevance, and we're seeing lifts in unaided brand awareness, in search volume, in improved targeting, which is driving improved outcomes. And I saw a really interesting stat that said consumers are even enjoying the content in the ads more. So, there's all different types of performance indicators that we can look at.
So Jess, what other use cases aside from contextual relevance does transparency into content signals enable?
Yeah, one of the things that comes to mind is brand safety and brand suitability. At the moment, because of the lack of signals, there are times where an advertiser will have to block an entire network or an entire app. And if we were able to get more transparency into contextual signals, we could identify shows or episodes even to go even more granularly to say this show or this episode is brand safe or brand suitable.
Also wanted to know how agencies are rethinking CTV, which has been evolving really quickly the last few years, in terms of the buying strategies that we can now plan at the show and episode level, not just the audience segments.
Yeah. Show and episode level planning and targeting hasn't scaled as significantly as audience targeting has. So it fits, in my mind, in more of the moment targeting that we do, where we're looking to find moments that a consumer is going to be more open to our message and pair that with a relevant message that resonates with that moment and with that consumer. What I will say is different is that you have to really think about creative differently when you are doing this level of contextual targeting. And it's not one mass creative version that will run to all women 25 to 54. You have to think about the sentiment, the tone, the look, the feel. So much more has to happen in the creative space.
Cannot finish an interview before asking the inevitable AI question.
Yeah.
So are there any things that you can point to in terms of the way that AI is helping agencies predict which content environments will deliver stronger attention and as well as engagement?
Yeah. I would say there's three areas where I see AI playing a big role. The first is around planning and helping us identify more content, more nuanced content, more contextually relevant content that we can target. So going beyond, keyword targeting, going beyond meta tag targeting, so that we really can understand the sentiment. The second place I would say is around optimization. So if we think about contextual relevance, and when you pair it with the creative, there are so many different variables that you're looking at. And if you're able to use AI and these tools we have something called Data Analyzer, where you can put all of the reporting and information into this tool, and it will either in real time or after the campaign give you a better view of what's performing, what variables are working. And the third one, like I said, is creative. I think we are asking a lot in terms of creative versioning, creative formats, and that's something that I think AI will really have a huge impact on helping.
Jess, we're at the end of the year, so looking forward is really all we can do at this point. What does the ideal CTV data partnership ecosystem need to unlock looking into 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, I think it's the combination of data and supply. So taking data, we have data about our audiences, about our clients, consumers, and layering on data and information about the content. What is the sentiment of that content? Who are the consumers that are watching that content? What's maybe the mindset that they're in when we're watching, so that we can sort of layer the data and the supply together with a relevant creative message and ultimately drive the most impact for advertisers.